Hi, it's Jeremiah. I've been really excited to do this video since its inception, and I have a bunch of notes over here, so you might see me glancing over a lot, just so that I make sure that I don't miss anything that I really wanted to say. But basically, for the past 3 months, I changed the way that I ate and trained, and here are some of the results. So here's a picture of me from May 6th. I am relaxed in this picture, unflexing, but still at a pretty favorable angle in my room. I think I always look the most cut when I stand like this. So I weighed about 150 pounds here, and I fluctuated between 149 and 152 when I stepped on the scale during different parts of the day. I was measuring a lot of my progress based on how my abs looked without perfect lighting or without me flexing, so that's why you have this inarguably poor quality picture. But here is a video of me from about a week after. I'm in my sister's bedroom. So this video better shows what I had all around. I don't really think it's the best video, but there are parts that I am flexing. I didn't really learn like what my favorite pose was, so it's not a perfect comparison, but here you can see what development that I've had. The only thing I measured then was my bicep, and that came out to 13 inches flexed when I wasn't pumped, and I think it was actually just like 13 and a half inches when I did get pumped, which according to Google is average. So here's a video of me from about a week ago. My arms are now 14 inches not pumped, and then 15 inches pumped. I think that's a pretty substantial amount of growth. I'm not sure it's as impressive as the picture that I used for the thumbnail or that I posted on my Instagram, but it is a little bit, in my opinion, a more realistic representation of what I've attained in these past 90 days, 12 weeks, whatever it has been. Here's a video of me right after I finished chest day, and I look way bigger because I'm pumped and I'm playing into the angles and I'm flexing and everything. And as much as I like the way that I look, I love looking into the mirror as soon as I finish a chest workout, but it isn't realistic because you're not going to hang on to that pump forever. Now, this is the picture that I used for the thumbnail and for my Instagram post. And in this photo, I have much more favorable lighting. I'm flexing super hard. I'm trying to make it look like I'm not flexing hard. I had cut carbs and then I dehydrated. I pretty much did everything except for get a really mean tan to accentuate the cuts. It's also important to note what kind of tricks I've employed in the final picture that I've taken. I'm standing in a position where I twist my body to make my waist look as small as possible. Even the way that I did my hair, flattening the sides is really important because if it's all puffed out and froey, then it kind of makes the rest of my body look smaller. The difference from this photo to the video that I showed you earlier is actually 10 pounds. The morning that I took this video, I weighed in at 147.5 pounds, I think, and the morning that I took the photos, 5 days or 4 days after, I was 137.3 pounds. It's insane. I haven't been under 140 pounds since before I entered college. We all want to show off what we look like at our best, but the purpose of this video is not to exaggerate or be dishonest about my progress. I'm not going to be dehydrated all the time. It feels like garbage. I'm not going to be pumped all the time. I wanted to show you what I look like when I'm relaxed because that's how you're going to catch me off guard. And I'm still proud of the progress that I've made. There's also an important point here where I hadn't been training very hard since before I left for Japan. So a lot of my gains could be like muscle memory. So I wanted to show what you could realistically expect to achieve if you're a normal person. But there's also like the kind of like having newbie gains again. So for this first progress physique update, then you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt too. There's also the fact that I'm pretty average genetically. Like I've always said that I spent most of my adult life coming to terms with the fact that I'm average because I'm not special to anyone. And so even my brother, we were having a conversation the other day when we were playing video games, and he was saying like, yeah, I went to the doctor, and then they'll say like, oh, if you're the average person would react this way to this medicine, and lo and behold, that happens to me. So we probably just have average genetics. I don't think that I have an amazing chest or amazing arms. I definitely don't have amazing legs. I like my arms. One of my friends told me that they're the best part of my body, but I don't think that they're by any means spectacular. I don't think that my chest insertions are the most amazing either. I kind of like the shape of my abs though. They're pretty symmetrical, For the most part, I mean, there are some pictures that I take and I'm just like, it looks like really uneven, or it doesn't look like the classic six pack that somebody illustrated or anything like that. But it also doesn't look as bad as I've seen sometimes. So I'm really glad that I ended up with those jeans. Part of the reason why I decided to do this was because of the current state of the world. I saw a lot of people posting on social media or just talking about their COVID 15 pounds or quarantine 15. And I decided that if I was going to change under lockdown, then it was going to be for the better. Funny enough, when I started, I mean, the top of what I weighed was 152 pounds, and then my stage weight was 137 pounds. So I really did go down 15. I remember I never put in a huge amount of effort into my weight training because I could never eat enough food. And there were some days that I wanted to train, and I thought to myself, well, I don't want to lift weights because then I'll burn calories. And if I can't manage to eat enough food, then I'm just gonna lose weight. I'm gonna feel bad. I didn't know that you could build muscle in a calorie deficit. I didn't know, like, you'll see a past video I had said that I wanted to bump up my calories from 3,000 to 4,000 a day. So I upped it to 4,000 calories a day. And yeah, I was doing a lot of cardio in Japan, but I just had it all wrong. And it was just really stupid methodology, but I've learned a lot since then. I was happy about gaining weight. I remember I was eating enough food to go up in weight, and then the number on the scale was all I was depending on at the time. But there were moments when I'd look at myself in the mirror and I was dissatisfied with the way that I looked because I was fatter than I wanted to be. So I decided that instead I would cut down to the ideal body fat percentage. I really wanted my abs to look like the whole point, what I based everything around was unflexed. I wanted my abs to look really good. And they just weren't that at the time. I mean, ooh, that old video, like I look back on it now and I'm like, wow, like I look now unpumped like my pump was 3 months ago. Maybe better. I like so after hitting my ideal body fat percentage, then I wanted to tack on lean muscle from there. So when I changed my diet, it wasn't exactly just eating less of the same thing. I did always have this problem of not being able to eat enough food, but instead of just changing that because I was eating 2 or 3 times a day, I also wanted to maximize muscle protein synthesis. So I ensured that I had 5 meals a day, and I also weighed everything out and tried to be as meticulous as possible with my calorie consumption. And I know it can't be 100% accurate, but at the end of the day, when I looked at the numbers, I felt satisfied that I hit my calorie goals, and I felt like I was really in control. Along with that, I also started to be more disciplined when it came to weights. Before, my training regimen was 3 times a week. I did push-pull legs, and I did it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that, and then I'd take the weekends off. And then now I do each muscle group twice a week. Like I might do, let's say I start on Sunday and it's legs, and then Monday is push, and then Tuesday is pull, Wednesday rest, and then I start over again. So I try to, it's like 5 or 6 times a week with weights, which was significantly more than I was doing before and with a lot more effort. I was training for hypertrophy instead of strength. When it came to measuring my progress, I had some different ways of doing it. I would step on the scale every morning under the same conditions. So basically, I'd wake up and then I'd take the scale to the bathroom, and then I'd pee, and then I'd step on it, and then I would record that weights, and I would do that every day for the week, and then I would take the middle weight just so that you can knock out the outliers, and then I would measure that every week just to make sure that I was losing not too much weight and losing enough weight at the same time. I also would get up and then just look at myself in the mirror and judge how lean I felt. I would measure my arms, right, just to make sure that they were getting bigger. Of course, they weren't going to get bigger super duper fast, but it was also one thing to see, like, oh, I measured 13 inches 2 months ago, and then now I'm at 14 inches, right? That was really exciting for me. And then the other thing was vascularity, just how visible my veins were. I remember I woke up from a nap, and then I went to the bathroom, and then I lifted up my shirt, and I thought I had creases on my stomach from the clothes or the blanket or something, but I was just noticing for the first time veins in my abs. So when it came to veins, the more my body was looking like Seymour's forehead from Final Fantasy X, then the better progress I thought I was making. And as long as one of these things was going all right, then I felt like I was doing a good job. Now that this initial time period is over, you might think that I'm ready to gorge myself on food, and initially I wanted to make like an emo kid and keep cutting, but then I realized just a couple of weeks ago, like this isn't even the leanest that I've been, because a couple of weeks ago I started feeling like I was ready to sing the YMCA song with He-Man, and it just wasn't pretty. So I decided to bump up my calories and then increase my body fat percentage because I realized that I actually didn't want to be that lean, surprisingly enough. And even though I went through the whole dehydration process and everything, I wasn't sure that it made a positive impact on my muscles. I feel like I looked way bigger when I took the video in the mirror with after I'd finished chest day. And maybe it's because the upper body looked good, or like the chest and the shoulders and everything. Maybe my abs looked better after dehydration, but I wasn't sure if there was really a point if I wasn't cutting down to 5% body fat or something like that. I'm pretty sure I'd be capable of it. And there's also no reason for me to go all the way down to 5% body fat because I just don't have the muscle mass right now. I think I would just look like somebody who runs marathons or something if I go way too hard. So I'll probably continue to post physique updates maybe every 3 months or 6 months, or I don't know, just maybe if I hit a milestone or anything like that. This isn't becoming a fitness YouTube channel, but I did have some videos planned out, maybe detailing exactly how I trained or what I eat and stuff like that. I wanted to go over more of that stuff, but then I didn't want this video to be longer than it already is. For anyone curious, hopefully I did these measurements and the math correctly, but I am about 5'7", about 171 centimeters tall. I have a 28.5-inch waist, 19-inch shoulders, 36.5-inch chest, 21-inch quads, really sad. My left bicep, unpumped but flexed, is 14 inches. My right bicep is about 14.25 inch. And for the starting weight, the first week's median was 149.8 pounds. The last week's median was 144.7 pounds. And my stage weight is 137.3 pounds. I also estimate that I probably went from about 15% body fat to 11% body fat, just based on my eyes. I don't know. I could be wrong, and somebody else could correct me, but I didn't really measure with anything like body fat calipers or a bod pod or a DEXA scan or anything like that. I just compared it to what other people have said online. So like I said, I was totally excited to share this, and you could probably hear it in the tone of my voice and maybe the speed at which I spoke. I also got to try out some new editing effects that I wanted to mess around with. I hope you like them, and thanks. See you soon.